Welcome back to video number 4, where we are going to talk about setting up the interview. Okay, point number 1, location and background. You can see I've already gotten set up here. I got my lamp for some lighting. I've got a makeshift phone stand that we are going to use to videotape ourselves. And this camera mostly serves purposes for this video. I'm going to talk into it as if that camera is the person interviewing me. And I'm the subject. I'm going to sit right here in this chair that we talked about in video number 2. So you can already see our actual location. The way we are filming this is that this chair is pulled way away from the background. This does not look like a normal living room at all. It is all types of rearranged. Nothing makes sense. But when we transition and we're going to look at this camera, that's going to be our main camera that films us, it's all going to make sense with the video that you guys are going to be recording. One thing about background is you don't want it to be a blank canvas behind your face. It just looks a little bit boring. There's not a lot to look at, but you also don't want it to look too cluttered. And right now I'm looking at the background and we've got 4 different photos: a wheel, some knickknacks on the wall, a plant, a couch, some fireplace tools. There's just too much going on, so I'm going to move some things around. Alright, now the knickknacks on the wall are gone, and so are the fireplace tools. Everything else in the shot, the plants, the outside, the paintings, they all add a nice aesthetic to the image that you want. And just removing a few things makes the image feel a lot less cluttered. Okay, let's talk about lighting. I've got a lot of natural light coming in from the windows to my right over here. And I've also got this handy dandy lamp right here that we want to keep out of frame. Now you might wonder, is having this extra light pointed right at my face really necessary? I'll let you decide for yourself, because you can create an attractive shot without it, but there is a before and after effect that you should see. We're going to look at the camera angle that's pointed at my face that's actually going to be filming me during the interview. So right here you can see there's not that extra light. It's a lot more cold. There's not much extra light that's pointing at my face. And after, suddenly my face is bright. It's lit up. In my opinion, it's much more attractive. I highly suggest you use a supplemental light. Now you always want to film on the side of your face that has this shadow. You can see on one side of my face all that natural light, and the supplemental light is lighting up one side of my face and it casts a shadow on the other. What that does, the extra shade on your face adds more structure, and it's a lot more flattering when you're actually conducting an interview and you can see the dynamic that light casting a shadow on the other side of your face creates. So if the interviewer is going to be sitting right here and the light is going to be coming from the right side of my face and casting a shadow on my left, then obviously the camera that's going to be filming me should also be placed on my left, just slightly off camera, about 1 foot. That's about it. Next thing we want to talk about is the actual frame of the shot and where your face and eyes sit in the frame. There's a classic documentary style, you can see it in any documentary you watch, that you've got your body sitting on 1/3 of the frame and 2/3 to be about open space. The reason you want to do this is because sitting here and talking to somebody like this for over half an hour gets really claustrophobic. It gets annoying. It's not a good way to actually communicate with somebody. That's why you see so many documentary interviews. You've got somebody sitting here, they've got 2/3 of open space, and it gives you a sense that you don't have to look right at me the entire time while I'm speaking. You can look anywhere else. That's why the background of the shot is so important. So this is the rule of thirds. You want your eyes sitting right about, I'm a little bit closer to the center, which isn't great. I can adjust my chair. But you want your eyes sitting right at the top third and the left third. Okay, so I just found an illustration I think would help us understand the point I'm trying to make. If we look at this fellow, he's being interviewed. This is exactly what I'm talking about with the rule of thirds. And if you look at this, he's positioned on one side of the screen, and right at this intersection, where the top third meets the left third, his eyes are positioned right in line with that third. On top of that, you can see the other elements I'm talking about in this interview, such as the shading on this right side of his face. All the light is being pointed on the left side of his face, and on the right is where the shading happens, and that is the angle that this entire view, this entire camera, is pointed at. It's pointed at the left side of his face. On top of that, because the camera is looking at this left shaded part of his face, his actual body and his eyes are pointed off camera towards all of this open space right here. This is a really easy way to see exactly how you should position yourself. If you look at this image, you can essentially copy everything that's going on in this picture, and that will give you a great image. You position yourself the way he is positioned. You look at his eyes, the distance the top of his head is from the very top of the frame. If you just look at this guy and do exactly what he's done and make your picture very similar, you're going to end up with a really, really great product. The last thing to talk about would be audio. Sadly, if you're filming on just a cell phone camera, there's not a really good way to get crisp, clear audio with just a microphone attachment to your phone camera. No matter what, you're going to be dissatisfied with the audio that you're going to get. If you want a higher production value with a film like this, it's better to just invest in a videographer. I do this professionally. Just look at my website for more information. It's in the link in the description below. Other than that, you are ready to record your story. At this point, you will have used that DocuFamily interview guide I told you about in the last video to plan out your story and what you're going to say. You will have found an attractive interview location, and you will have set it up properly with a beautiful frame and some lighting. The next video is going to be a pretty short video of me just showing you how to take the video you already shot on your phone and store it on your computer. Other than that, I'm happy you made it this far. It shows that you think doing this is an important use of your time, and I'm excited to see what you'll create. You know, this is a video that's, I think, will benefit generations of your family to come. With that said, see you in the next video where I'll show you how to actually take the footage that's on your phone and store it in your computer safely.